on the loneliest nights. I thought my world had already fallen apart, until a stranger's tears pulled me into a lie I never saw coming. What began as a desperate favor turned into something far deeper, testing my heart, my daughter's innocence, and the meaning of family itself. Do you believe love can be born from broken promises and second chances? If yes, like this video and share your thoughts in the comments. Daddy, are we late again? Her little voice pierced through the rumble of the old bus engine. I looked down at Mia, clutching her school bag to her chest like it was a treasure chest. No, baby, I said, forcing a smile. We're right on time. Just faster than usual. She grinned, missing tooth showing, and that grin, God, sometimes it's the only thing that keeps me upright. The truth? I was late. Again, I was always late. Late paying bills, late to pick her up, late to remember I was more than just a man trying not to drown. I tightened my grip on the handlebar as the bus screeched to a stop. Rain splattered against the windows. My shirt stuck to my back. My stomach growled, but I ignored it. Food could wait. Rent couldn't. Daddy? Yeah, baby? Do you miss Mommy too? My throat tightened. I'd prayed she wouldn't ask tonight. Not when my head was already heavy from a day. Every single day. I whispered. She leaned against me, small hand finding mine. I dream about her sometimes. She tells me I'm strong. I swallowed hard. Stronger than me, kiddo. We stepped off the bus into the drizzle. The city lights smeared across the wet pavement, blurry like my thoughts. My shoes squelched with every step. You hungry? I asked. She nodded. Can we have noodles? Yeah, noodles it is. Noodles again. Cheap, fast filling. I hated them. But Mia slurped them like they were royal feast food. And maybe that was enough. As we walked down the block, past shuttered shops and flickering street lamps, my mind drifted back. Nights without sleep. Papers stacked on the kitchen table. Her empty side of the bed. The silence that never left, no matter how loud the world outside was. I'd learned to live with it, but it never stopped gnawing. Mia tugged my sleeve. Daddy, look. At the corner of the park, under a dim streetlight, someone sat hunched on a bench. At first, I thought it was just another shadow. But no, she moved, shoulders trembling, her face hidden in her hands. A woman. She was dressed too well for this part of town, black coat, heels muddy from the rain. Her hair clung to her cheeks. Tears streamed down, though she tried to hide them. Mia whispered, Is she okay? I hesitated. I don't know. I should have kept walking. Strangers weren't my problem. I had enough of my own. But something about the way she shook, like the world had ripped something from her chest. I knew that feeling too well. Daddy, Mia whispered again. She looked so lonely. I bit my lip. Yeah, she did. My first instinct was to keep my daughter away. Don't get involved. Don't invite trouble. But my second instinct, the one that kept me human, wouldn't let me. The rain started falling harder, tapping against my umbrella. I opened it, holding it above Mia's head. She pointed at the woman. She doesn't have one. I exhaled slowly, heart thudding. Don't do it. Just walk home. Feed your kid. Forget it. But my feet didn't move. They rooted themselves to the ground as if they'd made the decision for me. I looked at Mia, then back at the woman. My chest tightened. I gripped the umbrella harder. Her shoulders shook again, and I swore I heard a muffled sob. And in that moment, I knew, no matter how much I wanted to disappear into my own darkness, I couldn't just walk past hers. I stood frozen, rain drumming against the umbrella above me. The stranger's shoulders shook with every sob. Daddy, Mia tugged again. She's all wet. We should help her. I swallowed. Maybe she wants to be left alone. But the words sounded weak, even to me. Mia tilted her head. What if Mommy was sitting there? Wouldn't you want someone to help her? Her words cut through me sharp in the cold. My chest ached. Damn kid. She always knew how to break my walls. I sighed, stepped forward. My shoes splashed in the puddles. Excuse me, I said softly. You'll catch a cold out here. The woman raised her head slowly. Her mascara was smeared. eyes red, but even through the mess I saw elegance. She looked untouchable, except she was crumbling. "I'm fine," she croaked. "You don't look fine." I extended the umbrella over her. "Take this." She shook her head. "Keep it. You need it for her." Her eyes flicked toward me. I hesitated. "Then at least stand under with us." For a moment, silence. Then, almost in a whisper, she asked, "Are you married?" The question blindsided me. I cleared my throat. "No, not anymore." Her lips trembled. She bit them, then suddenly blurted, "Can you pretend just for one day?" I frowned. "Pretend what?" She looked right into my eyes, desperate. "Pretend to be my family. Please." I blinked at her. "What?" "You and her." She nodded at Mia. "Pretend to be mine, just for a little while." Mia leaned into me, confused. "Daddy, what does she mean?" I crouched to Mia's height. "I'm not sure, baby." I turned back to the woman. "You serious? You don't even know us." Her voice cracked. "I don't need to know you. I just need someone tonight." Every instinct screamed at me to walk away. This was crazy, dangerous even. But her eyes, those shattered eyes, looked like mine the night I lost everything. I rubbed my forehead. "Why me?" "Because you stopped," she whispered. "Everyone else just walked past." Mia tugged my sleeve again. "Daddy, maybe she just wants a friend." I sighed, shaking my head. "You don't know what you're asking, kiddo." The woman's voice rose, almost breaking. "I'll explain later. I'll pay you, if that's what you want. Just don't say no. Not yet." Money. The word stung. I wanted to tell her I wasn't some beggar for hire. But then I thought of the rent notice folded in my back pocket, the unpaid electricity bill, the cough medicine Mia needed. Still no. I had pride. "I don't need your money," I said flatly. She blinked, surprised. "Then you'll do it?" I hesitated. Rain pelted harder, thunder rolling above us. Mia sneezed, and that sealed it. I couldn't stand here arguing in a storm. "Fine," I muttered. "Just tell me where we're going." The woman's eyes filled with relief. She stood, smoothing her soaked coat. "Come with me." I shot Mia a look. She shrugged, as if saying, "Why not, Daddy?" Kids had no fear. We followed her down the slick street. Streetlights blurred in the rain. Cars hissed past. My stomach churned with every step. "Daddy," Mia whispered, "are we going to our house?" "I don't know, baby. Let's just see." The woman walked fast, heels clicking against the pavement, until a black car pulled up beside us. The driver jumped out, holding an umbrella. He bowed slightly to her. "Miss, the car is ready." "Miss?" My gut twisted. Whoever she wasn't ordinary. She gestured to us. "They're coming with me." The driver's brows flicked, but he nodded. I helped me into the car, then slid in after her. The woman sat across, hugging herself, eyes staring at nothing. "Can I ask your name?" I finally said. Her lips parted. "Claire." "Claire what?" "Just Claire." Fair enough. I wasn't in a position to push. The car glided through the city, past glowing towers and neon signs. Mia leaned against me, half asleep, but I couldn't relax. Every nerve screamed this was a mistake. Finally, Claire whispered, "Thank you." I nodded stiffly. "Don't thank me yet. I don't even know what I agreed to." She met my eyes, and for a second, her mask slipped. "You'll understand soon." I looked at her, this woman drowning in secrets, and something told me she was about to drag us into a world we didn't belong to. The black car rolled to a stop in front of iron gates taller than any house I'd ever seen. Golden lights shimmered on the other side, spilling across a driveway wide enough for 10 buses. I stared out the window, stunned. What the hell did we just walk into? Mia's sleepy eyes widened. "Daddy, is this a castle?" I forced a chuckle. "Looks like it, huh?" The gates creaked open, and the car glided forward. My stomach tightened with every passing second. Inside, servants moved briskly, lanterns glowing in their hands. The mansion rose above us like a giant, every window blazing with light. Claire sat opposite me, perfectly still. Her face was calm now, but her fingers twisted in her lap. Claire, I said carefully, you want to tell me what's happening before I walk my daughter into that place? Her eyes flicked to Mia, then back to me. Just play along. Please. One dinner. That's all. One dinner? I repeated. Yes. Pretend you're my family. Husband. Father. That's it. I rubbed my temple. Do you realize how insane that sounds? Her voice cracked desperate. I know, but if I fail tonight, I lose everything. Lose everything? I wanted to demand answers, but the car was already stopping. A servant opened the door, bowing slightly. Claire straightened her coat, then looked at me with eyes that begged. Please, just this once. Mia tugged my sleeve. Daddy, can we help her? Just for tonight? I sighed, the weight of the world pressing on my shoulders. Fine, just one night. All right, I muttered, but you owe me an explanation after. Claire nodded quickly, relief flashing across her face. We stepped out onto marble steps, and instantly I felt out of place. My shoes were wet, my shirt cheap and wrinkled. Meanwhile, every servant wore spotless uniforms, their eyes trained ahead. Inside, chandeliers blazed above us. Gold-framed portraits lined the walls. A butler led us down a hallway that smelled of roses and polished wood. Mia whispered, Daddy, it's so shiny. Don't touch anything. I whispered back. We entered a grand dining room where a long table stretched across the room, silverware gleaming under the lights. At the far end sat an older man with sharp eyes, and beside him, a woman dressed in pearls. Other guests filled the seats, all stiff smiles and quiet murmurs. Claire's posture changed instantly. She slid her hand into mine, squeezing tightly. I flinched, but she whispered, Please, just smile. Mia blinked up at her. Do I smile too? Yes, sweetheart, Claire whispered, bending down. Just stay close to your daddy. We walked forward. My heart pounded like a drum in my chest. The older man's eyes narrowed. Claire, and this must be your family? Yes, Claire said smoothly, though her hand trembled in mine. My husband and our daughter. All eyes turned on us. Heat rushed to my face. I wanted to disappear. Mia, oblivious, gave a little wave. Hi, I'm Mia. The room softened with polite laughter. Claire smiled, though I saw the tension behind it. The woman in pearls leaned forward. She's precious. Looks just like you, Claire. Claire's eyes glistened for a second, but she nodded. Yes, she does. We sat down. The table glittered with crystal glasses and silver platters. Servants moved silently, pouring wine, setting plates. I'd never seen food like this outside a magazine. Mia's eyes went wide. Daddy, look, they have 3 forks. A few guests chuckled. I gave her a quick nudge under the table. Sure, baby. Claire leaned close, whispering, Just relax. Follow my lead. Easy for her to say. Every forkful of food felt like I was performing on stage. I could feel their eyes, weighing me, judging me. Halfway through the meal, the older man spoke again. Claire, you've hidden them well. Why reveal them now? My pulse spiked. Hidden us? Claire squeezed my hand tighter. Because I wanted you all to know I'm not alone. I have my family. Her voice was steady, but under the table her fingers dug into mine. Mia, completely unaware of the tension, grinned and said loudly, Daddy makes the best noodles in the world. The table erupted in laughter. Even the old man cracked a faint smile. Claire's eyes shimmered with unshed tears. She brushed Mia's hair back gently. I'm sure he does. For a moment, everything slowed. The chatter, the judgmental stares, gone. All I saw was Claire's face as Mia leaned against her like she belonged there. And then Claire whispered so low only I heard, Thank you. Dinner dragged on, conversations sharp with undercurrents I didn't understand. But somehow we survived. When it finally ended, guests rose one by one. The older man gave Claire a long, unreadable look before leaving the room. I exhaled, shoulders aching from tension. Claire guided me and Mia aside. Her grip on my hand didn't loosen. "I can't thank you enough," she said softly. "You saved me tonight." I shook my head. "You need to tell me what's really going on. This isn't just dinner." Her eyes darted around, then locked onto mine. "You're right. It isn't. And you deserve the truth." The door clicked shut behind us, muting the hum of voices from the grand hall. The smaller room was lined with bookshelves. The smell of leather and old paper thick in the air. Claire turned. Her back pressed to the door as if she were holding the whole world out. Mia clung to my hand, looking up at her curiously. "Miss Claire, are we playing a game?" Claire forced a smile. "Not a game, sweetheart. Just something important." I crossed my arms, my voice low. "All right, no more half-truths. You dragged us here, made me pretend to be your husband, and fed my kid into a circus of strangers. Now you're going to tell me why." Her lips trembled. She moved to the fireplace, staring into the cold ashes. "Because I needed you." "Needed me?" I scoffed. "You don't even know me." Her eyes darted to Mia, then back to me. "I know enough. You're kind. You didn't walk away when you saw me in the rain. That's more than most people in my world would ever do." I rubbed the back of my neck, fighting the frustration bubbling up. "Claire, people like you, people who live in houses like this, don't just pull random dads off the street to play family." Her shoulders sagged, the mask slipping. "You're right, but I was desperate." Mia tugged my sleeve. "Daddy," she said. I looked at Claire again. She was not just sad, broken. Her eyes shimmered, glassy with a pain that felt too heavy to hide. "Then tell me," I said, softer this time. "What are you so desperate about?" She hesitated, then finally whispered, "My father, the old man at the table?" She nodded. "He's sick. Maybe months. Maybe less. And he wants one thing before he goes, that I'm not alone, that I have a family." I froze, her words sinking in. "So you lied," I muttered. Her voice cracked. "Yes, I told him I was married, that I had a daughter, and tonight was the first time he asked to meet them." The weight of her confession pressed on me like bricks. "You realize how insane this is?" I whispered fiercely. "Dragging us into your lie, putting my daughter in the middle of it." "I know." Her voice broke into a sob. "But I couldn't tell him the truth. Not when he's dying. Not when all he wants is to believe his daughter is safe, loved, cared for." For a long moment, I just stared at her. My chest ached in ways I didn't expect. Because I knew that feeling. I knew what it was like to want to protect someone you love, even with lies. Mia let go of my hand and toddled closer to Claire. She touched her arm gently. "It's okay. My daddy takes care of me too. Maybe he can take care of you." Claire's tears finally fell. She knelt down, wrapping her arms around me like she was clinging to a lifeline. I swallowed hard. "Claire." She looked up at me, her face wet, her voice trembling. "I'm sorry for dragging you into this. But tonight, you saved me. You saved my father's last dream." And her breath hitched. "I don't know how to thank you." I sighed, pinching the bridge of my nose. "Don't thank me yet. I need to know what happens now." She hesitated. "Now, I need you to keep pretending. At least until—" Her voice trailed off. "Until what?" I pressed. "Until he's gone." The words hit like a punch. My jaw tightened. "You're asking me to lie to a dying man. For weeks. Maybe months." She nodded slowly. "Yes." I paced across the room, my thoughts spinning. This is insane. Dangerous. Mia's just a kid. We can't be part of this. But then I looked at Claire, her trembling hands, her raw eyes, and something twisted inside me, because I saw myself in her. The fear, the loneliness, the crushing weight of responsibility you didn't ask for but couldn't run from. "Daddy," Mia's little voice broke my storm of thoughts. "Can we help her? Please." I met her eyes. Pure, innocent, hopeful. Claire's whisper followed, broken but pleading. "Please. I don't have anyone else." Silence filled the room, thick and suffocating. My heart pounded in my chest. I wanted to scream, to walk away, to protect Mia from this mess. But another part of me, the part that knew the ache of loss, the sting of loneliness, wouldn't let me. I exhaled slowly. All right, I'll help you, but only under one condition. Claire's eyes widened. Anything. I pointed at her. No more secrets. No more surprises. You tell me everything before you drag me into it. Got it? She nodded quickly, tears still clinging to her lashes. I promise. I sank into a chair, exhausted. Then I guess we're in this together. Mia clapped her hands. Yay, we're a family now. Claire gave a shaky laugh, wiping her cheeks. Yes, sweetheart. For now, we are. The night after the dinner felt heavier than any long shift I'd ever worked. I tucked me into a guest bed, so big she disappeared under covers. She grinned sleepily. Daddy, this house is like a dream. Yeah, I muttered, brushing her hair back. More like someone else's dream. She yawned. Miss Claire was crying. I think she needs hugs. I kissed her forehead. Sleep, baby. We'll figure this out tomorrow. When I closed her door, I leaned against the wall, exhaling hard. My chest still buzzed with Claire's words, until he's gone. A family. Pretend. For months, I rubbed my face, fighting the urge to storm out. But Mia was asleep, and Claire, she was waiting. I found her in the library, curled in a chair with a blanket over her shoulders. She looked smaller somehow, fragile. Nothing like the woman who'd walked into that dinner, smiling like she owned the world. You should rest, I said quietly. She lifted her head, eyes red but soft. So should you. I sat across from her. Let's be clear. This lie, it's dangerous. For Mia, for me, for you. I know. Her voice was steady now, stripped of desperation. But I don't have another choice. You always have a choice, I muttered. Her eyes searched mine. Do you? If you could bring back your wife, even for a few months, wouldn't you do anything? Wouldn't you lie if it meant you believed everything was okay before she left? The air left my lungs. My wife. The name I didn't speak anymore clawed at my chest. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. That's not fair. No, she whispered. It's not, but it's the truth. Silence wrapped around us. The fire crackled low. Finally, I said, all right, we'll play your game. But Mia stays out of the mess as much as possible. Claire nodded quickly. Of course. I rubbed my temples. So what happens now? We just act like a married couple. A faint smile tugged at her lips. Yes, in front of my father, my family, the world, if needed. My stomach twisted. And when they ask questions, when they look closer, then we answer together, she said firmly. No cracks, no doubts, just family. I snorted. You make it sound simple. Her smile faded. Nothing about this is simple, but I trust you. Those words rattled me more than they should have. Trust. I hadn't felt that from anyone in years. Before I could respond, the door creaked open. Mia padded in, clutching her stuffed bunny. Daddy, I can't sleep. I opened my arms, and she climbed into my lap. Her small weight grounded me, reminded me what mattered. Claire watched, her expression softening. She loves you so much. Yeah, I said quietly, kissing Mia's hair. She's all I have. Mia looked at Claire with sleepy eyes. Do you get nightmares too? Claire blinked. Sometimes. Daddy says hugs make them go away. Without hesitation, Mia slid off my lap and wrapped her little arms around Claire. Claire froze and melted, hugging her back like she'd forgotten what warmth felt like. Her lips trembled. Thank you, sweetheart. Mia whispered. Now you can sleep good. When Mia shuffled back to me, curling against my chest, I caught the look in Claire's eyes. She was holding on by a thread, and Mia's hug had given her something she hadn't had in a long time. Hope. The next morning, the performance began. Servants greeted us with polite bows. Claire slipped her hand into mine as we walked through the hall, smiling like we'd been married for years. My skin prickled under the act, but Mia played along without even realizing. She skipped beside us, humming completely at ease. At breakfast, her father studied us carefully. "Your husband seems quiet, Claire." Claire squeezed my hand under the table. I cleared my throat. "Quiet but reliable." Mia beamed. "He makes pancakes better than anyone." The old man chuckled, coughing lightly into his napkin. "Good. A man who feeds his family is a man worth keeping." Claire's grip tightened. I glanced at her, saw the shimmer in her eyes, and realized she wasn't just lying for him. She was clinging to the lie for herself, too. That evening, when Mia was tucked in again, Claire pulled me aside on the balcony. The city lights stretched endlessly below us. "Thank you," she said softly. "For what?" "For not letting me drown alone." I leaned on the railing, staring at the glittering skyline. "Don't thank me yet. This lie is going to get harder." She nodded, her profile outlined against the night. "I know, but for tonight, can we just breathe?" Her words lingered in the cool air. I didn't answer. I couldn't, because part of me feared that breathing beside her was a first step into something I wasn't ready for. Days turned into weeks, and with each one, the lie grew heavier. At first, it was easy, holding Claire's hand at meals, letting Mia chatter about our family, smiling through conversations with relatives who barely looked at me. But then came the moments in between. The way Claire's laugh slipped out when Mia made silly faces. The way her hand lingered in mine a little longer than necessary. The way my chest tightened when I caught her staring at me like she believed the lie as much as her father did. It scared me, because this wasn't my world. And this wasn't my life. One afternoon, Mia and I were in the garden, chasing each other between hedges, when Claire appeared in the doorway. She leaned against the frame, arms crossed, smiling softly. "You too look happy," she said. Mia giggled. "Daddy says running makes us strong." Claire stepped down into the garden, her heels clicking on the stone path. "Mind if I join?" Mia squealed. "Yes, you're on Daddy's team." I raised an eyebrow. "Oh, so now it's teams?" Mia nodded fiercely. "Girls versus Daddy." I groaned. "Unfair." Claire laughed, light, genuine. She kicked off her heels and chased me across the grass, hair flying behind her. For a moment, the three of us were just a family. Not fake, not forced, just real. And that terrified me more than anything. That night, after Mia was asleep, I found Claire in the kitchen. She was barefoot, standing by the stove, stirring something in a small pot. "Didn't peg you for a cook," I said. She glanced up, smiling faintly. "I'm not, but I wanted to try." The smell of chocolate drifted up. "Hot cocoa." She nodded, pouring it into 2 mugs. "Thought you could use some." I accepted it, the warmth seeping into my hands. "Careful. You keep doing things like this, and people might think you're human." She chuckled softly. "Don't tell anyone." We sat at the counter, sipping in silence. The house was quiet, the kind of quiet that made you hear your own heartbeat. Finally, she said, "You're good with her." "With Mia. She's my world." I replied simply. Claire's eyes softened. "I can see that. She's lucky to have you." I shifted uncomfortably. "Don't romanticize it. I mess up plenty." "But you stay," she whispered. "That's what matters." Something in her voice tugged at me. I wanted to ask who hadn't stayed for her, but I bit my tongue. Instead, I asked, "And you? Do you stay?" Her eyes glistened. "I'm trying." The silence stretched, heavy with words neither of us spoke. I cleared my throat, setting my mug down. "We should draw some lines, Claire." Her brow furrowed. "Lines?" "Yeah, boundaries. This, I gestured between us. It's pretend. And if we forget that..." Her lips parted, but no sound came. Then she nodded slowly. "You're right." But her eyes told me she didn't believe it. The next day, the lines blurred again. We visited her father in his study. He was pale, weakened before, but his eyes lit up when Mia ran to him. "Grandpa!" she chirped. He laughed, coughing lightly. "Ah, my little sunshine." Claire knelt beside his chair, holding his hand. "How are you feeling today, Dad?" "Better now," he said warmly. His gaze shifted to me. "You've done well, son, taking care of them." The word son caught in my chest. I forced a smile, nodding. "I try." His hand squeezed mine, frail but strong in spirit. "Promise me you'll always protect them." I swallowed hard. "I will." And I meant it, but not as part of a lie. I meant it because I already cared. Too much. That night, Claire stopped me in the hallway. Her eyes shone in the dim light. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" "For promising him. For making this easier." I looked at her, at the vulnerability she tried so hard to hide, and I realized the line we'd drawn was already smudged. "Claire," I started, but the words tangled in my throat. She stepped closer, just a breath away. What if it didn't have to be pretend? My heart slammed against my ribs. I forced myself to step back. "Don't." Her face fell, but she nodded quickly. "You're right. I'm sorry." I turned away, my chest aching, because a part of me wanted nothing more than to say yes. Sleep didn't come easy that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Claire's face in the hallway, her nearness, her question. What if it didn't have to be pretend? I turned restlessly, listening to Mia's soft breaths beside me. She looked so peaceful, curled up with her bunny, completely unaware that her father was drowning in a storm of feelings he shouldn't have. Because this was supposed to be an act. A deal. Nothing more. So why did my chest tighten every time Claire smiled? The next morning, Mia dragged me into the garden again. She skipped ahead, giggling, while I trudged after her, half awake. Claire was already there, kneeling by a flower bed with gloves on, dirt smudged on her cheek. Mia ran straight to her. "Miss Claire, look, Daddy and I found a ladybug." Claire looked up, smiling brighter than the sun. She held out her palm, and Mia gently placed a tiny bug there. Her laugh rang out, soft and real. "You two keep finding magic, don't you?" I crossed my arms. "We try." She glanced at me, eyes lingering a little too long. My stomach twisted. Later that afternoon, we took Mia to the park near the mansion. Servants offered to drive, but I insisted on walking. I needed air. I needed normal. Mia raced ahead to the swings, squealing with joy. Claire sat beside me on the bench, watching her. "She's happy here," Claire said softly. "She's happy anywhere she feels loved," I replied. Her smile wavered. "You really believe that?" "I have to," I said. "Otherwise, I drown in guilt every day." She tilted her head. "Guilt." I swallowed. The words slipped out before I could stop them. When my wife died, I promised I'd give Mia enough love for both of us. But some nights, I feel like I'm failing, like she deserves better. Claire's hand brushed mine, tentative but warm. "You're not failing. You're the best father I've ever seen." My throat tightened. For a moment, I didn't pull away. For a moment, it felt right. But then Mia called out, "Daddy," pushed me higher. I stood quickly, retreating into the safety of her laughter. That evening, after Mia was asleep, Claire knocked softly on my door. "Can we talk?" she asked. I hesitated, then nodded. She stepped in, closing the door behind her. The dim light made the room feel smaller, more intimate. "I need to tell you something," she said, voice low. "Tonight, my aunt asked me about our wedding. About you. She wanted details." My stomach dropped. "And what did you say?" "That it was small. Simple. That we didn't care about fancy things. Just each other." Her eyes met mine. "And the scary part is, I wasn't lying. Because that's exactly the kind of love I wish I had." The silence between us burned. "Claire," I whispered, "we can't do this." Her lips trembled. "Do what?" "Blur the lines. Pretend so hard that we start believing it." Her breath caught. "But isn't that what's happening already?" I turned away, running a hand through my hair. "That's the problem." She stepped closer, her voice barely a whisper. What if the problem is also the answer? I froze, every nerve in me on fire. Then Mia's sleepy voice cut through the air. "Daddy?" Claire jumped back as I rushed to the bed. Mia rubbed her eyes. Bad dream. Can you stay here? Of course, baby. I pulled her close, my heart hammering. Claire lingered by the door, her face shadowed with longing and regret. Good night, she whispered before slipping away. Hours later, I still lay awake, Mia's small hand resting on my chest. Claire's words echoed in my mind. What if the problem is also the answer? And for the first time, I realized I wasn't afraid of the lie collapsing. I was afraid of what would happen if I wanted it to be real. By the third week, the weight of the lie pressed harder than ever. At breakfast, Claire's father coughed more than usual, his skin pale, his voice weak. But his eyes, sharp as ever, lingered on me. You're a quiet man, he rasped, sipping tea. But quiet men usually hide storms. Tell me, son, what kind of storm do you carry? My throat tightened, the kind that never ends. His gaze held mine for a long, piercing moment, then he nodded, as if satisfied. But I couldn't shake the feeling he saw more than we thought. That afternoon, Claire's aunt cornered me in the hall. Her perfume was sharp, her smile sharper. So, she said, folding her arms, Claire tells me you had a small wedding. Funny, I don't recall an invitation. I forced a polite smile. We kept it private, just a few friends. Her eyes narrowed. And the certificate? Where is it? Heat crawled up my neck. Before I could answer, Claire appeared, slipping her arm through mine. Aunt, she said smoothly, we don't owe you proof of our happiness. The aunt sniffed. Happiness fades. Paper lasts. Don't think we won't notice the holes in your story. When she left, I exhaled sharply. She's suspicious. Claire's hand trembled against mine. She always has been. Then it's only a matter of time before. Don't, she cut in, eyes blazing. Don't say it. We can't break now. That evening, I found Mia in the library, sitting on the floor with a picture book. She looked up. Daddy, do I have to call Claire Mommy? The question stopped my heart. Who told you that? I asked carefully. Some lady today. She said, every girl should call her Mommy. I knelt beside her. Sweetheart, you don't have to call anyone that. Mommy is special. It belongs to your mom in heaven. Okay. Mia nodded slowly, hugging her bunny. But Claire is nice. She makes me feel safe, too. My chest ached. I brushed her hair back. I know, baby, but you never have to force love. Love is real or it isn't. Her small eyes studied mine. Do you love her? I opened my mouth, but no words came. That night, Claire joined me on the balcony. Her hair whipped in the wind, her face pale in the moonlight. My aunt won't stop, she whispered. She'll dig until she finds something. Then maybe it's time to end this, I said. Her head snapped up. No, please. My father believes it. He's smiling again. Do you know the last time I saw him smile before you came? Her voice cracked. 2 years. 2 years of cold silence. And now, he calls me his little girl again. Because of you. Because of this. Her tears glistened in the moonlight. Don't take that from me. Not yet. I turned away, my chest burning. Claire, this lie is eating me alive. It's eating me at too. Today someone told her to call you Mommy. Claire flinched as if struck. I would never. I know, but it's happening. Lines are blurring. And when this explodes, she'll be the one crushed. She covered her mouth, sobbing softly. I never meant to hurt her. Or you. I exhaled, gripping the railing until my knuckles whitened. Then maybe the truth is the only way. She shook her head fiercely. The truth will kill him faster than the disease. Silence stretched between us, sharp and heavy. And for the first time, I realized no matter what I chose, someone would break. Later that night, Mia crawled into my bed, her bunny clutched tight. Daddy, she whispered. Yeah, baby? If lies make people smile, are they bad? Her question gutted me. I pulled her close, kissing her hair. Yes, sweetheart, they're bad, because smiles from lies don't last. She nodded sleepily. Then maybe we should tell the truth. Her small words cut deeper than any blade. I held her tight, staring into the dark, knowing tomorrow would demand a price I wasn't ready to pay. I knew it was coming the moment I stepped into the dining hall that morning. The air was thick, charged, like the sky before a thunderstorm. Claire's aunt sat at the far end of the long table. Her lips curled in a smile that wasn't a smile at all. In front of her lay a manila folder. "Good morning," she said sweetly. "Sleep well." Claire stiffened beside me. "What are you doing?" Her aunt tapped the folder. "Just clearing the fog. After all, family should have nothing to hide." My gut twisted. I reached for Mia's hand under the table, holding it tight. She opened the folder and spread out papers like knives. "Marriage records," she announced. I searched the county offices myself. Imagine my surprise when I found no trace of your wedding. Not last year. Not ever. Claire's face went white. "You had no right." "No right?" Her aunt laughed. "I have every right. I'm family. And this stranger," she jabbed a finger at me, "is nothing. A fraud you dragged in to fool your dying father." Her voice echoed off the high walls. Mia flinched at the word fraud. I squeezed her hand tighter. "Stop," I said, my voice low. "Not in front of my daughter." "Your daughter?" The aunt sneered. "Does she even know what you are? Pretending to be a husband, a son-in-law, when you're nothing but—" "Enough!" Claire's voice cracked like thunder. She slammed her hands on the table, eyes blazing with tears. "Yes, we lied. I begged him to help me because I was desperate. Father was slipping away, and this was the only thing that made him hold on. So blame me, not him." Her father, frail in his chair at the head of the table, raised a trembling hand. "Claire, is it true?" The room fell into silence. I couldn't breathe. This was the moment, the edge of the cliff. If I stayed silent, Claire would drown alone. If I spoke, I'd rip apart the fragile miracle we had built. "Yes," I said finally, my voice breaking. "It's true. I'm not her husband. I'm just a single father trying to survive. And I never meant to lie to you, sir. I only wanted to give you peace." Mia's hand slipped from mine. I turned to her. Her wide eyes shimmered with confusion. "Daddy, you lied?" she whispered. My chest caved in. "Sweetheart, But she pulled away, clutching her bunny to her chest, tears spilling. Claire's aunt smiled in triumph. "See? A liar. A parasite. He used your sickness, brother, to feed his own needs." "No!" Claire screamed. "He never wanted this. I forced it on him. And if you can't see the truth of his heart, then maybe you're the blind one." Her father coughed violently, each spasm rattling his thin frame. The nurse rushed forward, but he waved her away, his eyes fixed on me. "Why?" he croaked. "Why did you do it?" I swallowed hard, my throat raw. "Because I know what it's like to lose hope, and I couldn't watch your daughter lose you without trying, even if it meant living a lie." The old man studied me for a long, heavy moment. Then, with surprising strength, he slammed his palm on the table. "Enough!" His voice shook the room. "Lies or not, this man gave me back my daughter's smile. He gave me days I thought I'd never have. That is no fraud." The aunt's face darkened. "Brother—" "Get out," he rasped. "If you cannot see the gift in front of you, then you have no place in this house." Claire's aunt rose, furious, gathering her folder. "This isn't over," she hissed, storming out. Silence returned, broken only by the sound of Mia's quiet sobs. I turned to her, my heart in pieces. "Mia, look at me." She shook her head, tears sliding down her cheeks. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "I thought I was protecting you. But lies only hurt. You were right." Slowly, she lifted her eyes to mine. "Then promise. No more lies." I pulled her into my arms, holding her as tightly as I could. "I promise, baby. No more." Later, when the house had emptied of echoes, Claire found me on the balcony. "You should go," she said softly. Her eyes were red, her shoulders trembling. "Before this gets worse for you and Mia." I stared at her, torn in half. "And what about you?" She smiled faintly through her tears. "I'll survive. I always do." I wanted to tell her she didn't have to survive alone, that I didn't want to walk away. But the promise I made to Mia echoed louder than my own heart. So I nodded, if that's what you want. She didn't answer. She just turned away, her hair whipping in the cold night wind. The sound of zippers closing felt like gunshots in the quiet room. Mia sat on the bed, her bunny clutched to her chest, watching me fold her clothes into a bag. She hadn't spoken much since the storm at the dining table. Each silence from her cut deeper than any words could. "Daddy," she said finally, her voice small, "are we leaving because of me?" I froze, my hands gripping a tiny sweater. "No, sweetheart, never because of you." "Then why?" she whispered. "I liked it here. Claire was nice. Her dad told me stories. It felt like a family." Her words cracked something inside me. I knelt, taking her little hands in mine. "I know, baby, but sometimes grown-ups make mistakes. And sometimes love comes in the wrong way at the wrong time." She frowned, tears filling her eyes. "But you always say love is never wrong." Her innocence burned through my chest like fire. I pulled her into my arms, holding her tight. "You're right, Mia. Maybe I just don't know what I'm doing anymore." I carried our bags downstairs, every step heavier than the last. The house was too quiet, too still. Claire didn't come to stop me. Part of me wanted her to. Part of me prayed she would. But when I reached the front door, she was there, standing in the hall, pale and trembling, her eyes red from crying. "You're leaving," she said. Not a question. I nodded, gripping the bags. "It's for the best." Her lips parted, but no sound came. She looked at Mia, who clung to my leg, then back at me. "So that's it? You just walk out?" I swallowed hard. "What else is there? The lie's broken. Everyone knows." Her chin trembled. "But what about us?" The words hung in the air, sharp and fragile. I shook my head slowly. "Us was never real, Claire. It was a story we told to make your father smile." Her tears spilled. "It was real to me." That stopped me. My heart clenched, tore between truth and the weight of what I felt. "Claire," she stepped closer, her voice breaking. "I don't care if it started as a lie. You held me when I was falling apart. You gave me back my father. You made me laugh again. That's not fake. That's the only real thing I've had in years." I dropped the bags. My hands shook as I ran them through my hair. "But how can I raise Mia in a house built on lies?" "Then let's build something new," she whispered fiercely. "No lies. Just us. Just the truth." Before I could answer, a weak voice called from the stairway. Her father, leaning heavily on the railing, his frame frail but his eyes burning with strength. "Don't be fools," he rasped. "You think love comes wrapped in perfect packages? It doesn't. It comes messy, broken, inconvenient. But if it's real, you don't walk away." Claire rushed to him. "Father, you shouldn't be up." He waved her off, eyes locked on me. "Son, I may not have long, but I've lived long enough to know this. Family isn't who you're born to. It's who stays when the storm comes. You stayed. You cared. That's all that matters." My throat tightened. "But I lied to you." He gave a weak smile. "And I forgave you the moment I saw the way you look at my daughter." Claire gasped softly, tears streaming. Mia tugged my sleeve. Her little voice was barely a whisper. "Daddy, maybe we don't have to leave." I looked down at her. Her big eyes shimmered with hope, and in that moment I knew this wasn't about lies anymore. This was about choice, about love. I dropped to my knees, pulling her close. "Baby, do you want this? Do you want us to stay?" She nodded fiercely. "Yes, I want Claire. I want her dad. I want us to be happy." Her simple truth cut through every doubt. I stood, my hands shaking, and turned to Claire. "If we do this, no more pretending. No more masks. Just you, me, and Mia, figuring it out one day at a time." Her breath hitched. "That's all I've ever wanted." We closed the distance between us. Her forehead pressed against mine, her tears mixing with mine. For the first time, it wasn't about pretending. It was about us. Raw, flawed, real. The days that followed weren't easy. Her aunt raged, threatened to destroy us. But Claire's father shut her out completely, standing by us with what strength he had left. At night, Mia curled between us, her laughter filling the house like light. Sometimes she called Claire by her name. Sometimes, without thinking, she called her Mommy. And every time, Claire's eyes filled with tears she tried to hide. We weren't perfect. We weren't even sure of tomorrow. But for the first time since my wife died, I felt something I thought I'd lost forever. Hope. One evening, as the sun bled gold across the horizon, Claire slipped her hand into mine. "Do you regret it?" she asked softly. "The lie, the storm, all of it?" I thought about the pain, the fear, the broken pieces. And then I looked at her, at Mia chasing butterflies in the garden, at her father smiling faintly from his chair. "No," I said quietly, "because it led me here." Claire leaned her head against my shoulder. Then maybe the lie wasn't the beginning. Maybe it was just the doorway. I kissed the top of her head, holding her close. Then let's walk through it. Together. Life didn't suddenly turn perfect. There were still bills, fears, and long nights of doubt. But now, when the shadows came, I wasn't facing them alone. I had Mia's laughter, Claire's strength, and a family born not from lies, but from the choice to love anyway. And sometimes the choice is the only truth that matters.